Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Watch Takes here on Watches with Oliver. I'm glad that you stopped by for my first video of 2025. So for today's video, we are going to be doing a side-by-side comparison on the Bulova A-15 from the Accuswiss version to the modern-day Miyota version. A little bit of history on the Bulova A-15. That watch was created sometime in the 1940s for pilots to basically track elapsed time from point A to point B. But it did it in a very unique way. It had an internal bezel that had the hour track and the minute track, and were both rotatable with the crowns on the side of the watch. So essentially the watch had 3 crowns, and this was basically a way to track the elapsed time from point A to point B. So back then, in this 2015, around 2016, Bulova released the Accuswiss version of the A-15, and as you can see, it has 3 crowns right here, with the outer minute track and an hour track as well. And then in 2020, Bulova released a larger version, the 42mm version, based on a Miyota movement, but with the same principles of the minute and hour elapsed time track on the outer ring of the watch. So we'll go ahead and take a look at a side-by-side comparison of both of these watches, and we'll see which one works best for you. Alright guys, so here we got the 2 versions of the A-15. The one on the left right here is the Accuswiss Swiss-made Bulova version of the A-15, and the one on the right is the modern-day Miyota version of the A-15. So if we go ahead and take a look at the Accuswiss version, this one was made in 2015. I believe it was probably made for 2 years, 2015 and 2016. It did have a limited production run. This particular one is coated in the black PVD, but they do have another one in stainless steel. This one also has white markers, as you could see. The white minute track and hour track markers are there, but the inner 24-hour track is in red. The Bulova font is in black, as you can see right there. On the back, it does say Bulova Accuswiss Type A-15, Swiss made. It does have a domed sapphire crystal, which is a nice touch to it. A particular notable mention of this watch is it does have lug holes for easy strap changes, as you could see right there. It does come on this black leather strap, which is really comfortable, really supple, has white stitching. As you can see, it has that Bulova Accuswiss logo on it. This particular Accuswiss watch more than likely has a Sellita SW200, or it could be an ETA movement. However, I believe in that time frame, it probably was a Sellita movement. It does have the 3 crowns, one to adjust the minute track, another one to adjust the hour track, and then the crown right here. So it is only water resistant to 50 meters. There is a O-ring in the crown, and then as well as in the case back, and it's super thin, so that's why the water resistance rating is only at 50 meters. The dimensions of this is 40 millimeters, and it does have a lug width of 18 millimeters, which that combination, it wears nicely on the wrist. It is snug, really comfortable, lightweight. You don't really feel it, especially with this band. It's been broken in nicely, and it wears really comfortably around the wrist. Now, if we compare the Accuswiss version to the modern day version of the Bulova A-15, this particular one is obviously in stainless steel, and it also does have that same domed sapphire crystal. It is missing the lug holes on the side of the lugs, which is interesting, so you can't really change straps as quickly. This particular one, the markers are all in white except for those 24-hour markers on the inner track, which is in yellow versus in red on this Accuswiss version. The stainless steel version of the Accuswiss A-15 does have yellow hour markers, yellow 24-hour markers, and a really patinaed, or photined, I should say, marker for the minute and hour numbers, and it's more yellow, and I don't really like that. but it's your personal preference. So this is the same thing here. It does have the 3 crowns for the minute track and then for the hour track, and then your central crown as well. This particular one is 42 millimeters with a 20 millimeter lug width. The back is fully polished, so it's prone to scratches, so that's something to just be aware of. But it really screams tool watch to me, and I really do like the size because the fonts are slightly larger than on the 40 millimeter one. There are some subtle differences, as you could see. For example, the hour and minute hands on the Accuswiss are skeletonized and loomed at the tip versus on the 42 millimeter version, the entire hand on the hour and minute um, hands are fully loomed and not skeletonized, and the second hand is fully white versus on the Accuswiss only the end is tipped, as you could see right there. But both of them function the same way, and this Accuswiss version beats at 28,800 vibrations per hour, while the Miyota one beats at a leisurely 21,600 vibrations per hour and has a power reserve of 42 hours. The band is aftermarket. I preferred this Rally Pilot strap band on it. I thought this suited it better than the original band, and it is a bit thicker than the original band. The original band isn't too bad. It's just not my cup of tea. The Bulova straps do generally wear larger, so I had to poke some holes right there, as you could see, to make it fit. Overall, the quality is really good. However, it does have texture to it, and it has a cracked texture to it, actually, to simulate the vintage feel. But it's just not my cup of tea, but it's still high quality, though. So, and it also comes on a polished buckle right there, and it is Bulova branded, as you could see, 20 millimeter lugs, genuine leather. But for this type of watch, I thought it was a bit underwhelming. The thickness as well as just the quality of it, while good, the texture is not something I prefer. So I thought this strap would be better suited for it. So in order to see how the elapsed time works, you basically adjust the minute track to the minute hand and line up the caret right there, the arrow, and then line up the hour the hour caret to the hour hand. And then you'd get to see how much elapsed time went by. So for example, if you were to pull the crown, let's go ahead and pass some time here. As you can see, it does hack, so that's a nice feature. So now you can see how much elapsed time passed by. So if you read it, the hour track, it's 3 hours, and then the minute track, 10 minutes. This was used for calculating basically how much time elapsed from point A to point B, and then to calculate distance. But then eventually, instruments on the planes made this obsolete, so pilots did not need to have this type of information on their wrist anymore. However, it's a nice novelty. I would say analog timing, if you will, maybe a chronograph, because you are timing time. But because of the advent of chronographs, this kind of made it a moot point. But it's kind of an interesting take on Bulova's history for the Bulova elapsed time watches that you see here. The crowns, they have some resistance to them, so that way they don't get bumped in any way by accident. So that's kind of a nice touch to it. Not too much resistance, but enough so it doesn't get bumped as easily. So let's go ahead and put it on my wrist and see how they wear. All right, so this is how the 40 millimeter version of the Bulova A-15 fits on my wrist. It's nice and snug. It doesn't overhang too far. The width is perfect. Remember, this is a 40 millimeter in diameter and has 18mm lug width. I like the 18mm lugs because it doesn't make it feel like it wears big on the wrist while still keeping a compact form factor of 40mm on the wrist. The thickness isn't so bad either. It might not be able to be under a cuff, but under a jacket or something, it will work out just fine. So let's go ahead and see how the 42mm Miyota version of the A-15 fits on my wrist. So here is the 42mm version of the A-15. It definitely is pushing it for my 6.5-inch wrist, and this is probably the largest I would ever wear, only because it overhangs pretty large over my wrist. The 43.5 Lunar Pilot, though, that I have, that one is probably as large as I will tolerate and fit on a 6.5-inch wrist because, well, I mean, it's a Lunar Pilot watch, so I'll make an exception for that. But for this, it does wear just snug, I would say. It fits really comfortable on the wrist. Oh, I also transferred this Bulova clasp over from the original one. So this is how it fits on a 6.5-inch wrist. It's okay. I like it. It's nice for easy visibility, that's for sure. You could instantly see it. It's nice and easy to see. And it fits fairly comfortably. I don't really notice it. Even the weight of the watch, I don't really notice as well. So I think Bulova did a good job with this particular watch, even though it is on the bigger side of things. All right, guys, so I hope you enjoyed that side-by-side comparison of the two Bulova A-15s. The Accuswiss version is a lot harder to find. You can find the black PVD coated one more so than the stainless steel one as I look around. They are priced around $1,000 or so if you are able to find them. As for the modern day 42mm version, you can buy that right now from Bulova.com or from a third party, but the prices are relatively reasonable versus $1,000. So which one is right for you? Well, you'd have to decide. For me, the price point was a really important factor, so I opted for the 42mm one, and I don't really regret my decision at all. It's robust, it's handsome, it's nice, it's easy to read, and well, it does a nice throwback to the good old days. So if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll look forward to talking to you soon. Take care.